Hello friends, my name is Margot and I am going to be making a quick video. This is from kind of a little talk about the Edward Art Supply series, starting with part 1. And it's called No One or Nothing to Change But Self. This is a Neville Goddard inspired series. And so just a few things in that, and I'll have a link below for that video. There's a lot of stuff in it that we can talk about, but one of the things that I feel is useful that's been very useful to me is focus on what you want. One of the things that trips me up every time is when I'm focused on anything I don't want. So if I start giving anything I don't want my attention, I know immediately because it doesn't feel good to me, and it starts attracting more thoughts about that situation or person that doesn't feel good to me. And learning how to adjust my focus from the observable what is to what it is that I want to focus on there's a little bit of a practice learning curve on that, because almost everything that you focus on that isn't what you want, there's emotional hooks in that. And you always know because it won't feel good. If you're focusing on something that you do want, the emotional hooks of that tend to feel good and tend to be, if nothing else, satisfying, or make you feel better than the alternative. So Neville Goddard talks about how it's fine to have desire. In fact, for the most part, most people are constantly having desires, but they're also judging them, and they're also telling themselves whether or not they can have what they desire, and that's usually based on what other people have told them, what they've been conditioned to believe about themselves and what they're capable of, or what's just realistic. And so with Neville Goddard, he says your imagination is how you give yourself what you desire immediately. As soon as you feel the desire, you allow yourself to fulfill that desire in your mind, yourself, your conscious mind, and that tends to take a little practice. It takes practice for me. Some people are probably really good at it. I'm coming from a place of, this is what I've been learning to do to refocus my attention on what it is that I want, rather than staying stuck or spiraling down thought streams of what is unwanted based upon a lot of everything that's outside of my control. So the one thing that is within your control is choosing to give yourself what you want, fulfilling your own desire in your imagination. This is a very, very powerful tool. And it's not hard. And you can make it harder than it needs to be. And that's okay. Because sometimes things just take a little practice and getting the hang of it, because it won't feel natural for everyone. And if you're really a natural at it, leave a comment, share, let us know your hacks and hints, because it can help. And that's what this channel is about. It's about helping each other find our way to create the life experience that we want, and to live our life in a way that feels good to us. But sometimes we need a little help with that. So let's see, I listened to the video and I took some notes. And of course I didn't number any of them, because why would I do that? So there's no one or nothing to change but self. So my take on that is, and they say in the video, Neville Goddard says, self is your mind. And then I'm saying your consciousness of beingness is your true self. That's my statement, because that's what I do. I listen to thought creators and I distill it down and find ways to understand it and make it work for me in my life. So sometimes they say it perfectly, and sometimes I have to process it and find my own footing for it. So it's really important to feel safe in this world. There's a big undercurrent of anxiety and stress for a lot of people, and I'm certainly no stranger to it. But what I have found is when you are really focused on the observable what is, and it feels intense, if it brings up a lot of negative emotion, or you just don't feel good when you're witnessing or observing something that you don't want in your reality, you don't have to get lost in that, and you don't have to become enmeshed or mired into that narrative. And that's a really important distinction. Your imagination is your freedom card. It's how you take something that is unwanted and you ask yourself, well, what do I want? And then oftentimes a desire, an idea or a desire will pop up, a wish. Just fulfill that wish, fulfill that desire as soon as you can, if not immediately upon having it in your own imagination, your own mind. Because yes, to a realist, that is going to seem absurd. It's going to seem like you're an idiot, or you're not being realistic and you're delusional. But I believe that the most powerful way to see in the observable world what it is that we want and desire, it's to withdraw our attention from the unwanted and to merge with our true self into whatever that wish is, as though it's been fulfilled. This is really good practice for alleviating anxiety and stress. It makes you feel empowered, and it gives you something to feel good about, which sometimes can be very hard to find something to feel good about. A lot of things can happen in this world, in a life experience where you're reeling and spinning from one thing to another, and all of those things seem to be outside of your control a lot of times. A lot of times you make choices that directly put you in an unwanted situation or interaction with someone, but for the most part, that all gets easier and subsides as you build up the momentum of your own focus and attention on what you want. And don't take my word for it. Like Neville Goddard says, and like EdwardArtSupplyHands, what this writer says in their series, I believe it's a man that writes it. I don't know for sure. I suppose I could find that out, but it doesn't matter to me personally, because the perspective of that series is so powerful and profound, and it has profoundly changed my way of how I focus, and as a result, what I'm experiencing in my life has given me evidence that it works, and I keep continuing on with it because I'm really compelled. I've been satisfied with what I'm experiencing, and I'm actually feeling like it's just going to continue getting better and better. And it's really been a gap, a bridge gap for a lot of the things that I wasn't fully getting in my law of attraction immersion with, like, Abraham Hicks, which I adore. I love them. You listen to them, they're absolutely, they've got it, and I get so much of it, and especially intellectually I get it. But the Edward Art Supply Hands series really helped me with big pieces of the puzzle that I was missing, that I wasn't able to apply in my life and feel the difference. And so it's helped me, and it's just been phenomenal for me personally. So let's see. That's a lot right there just to assimilate. But your false self tends to get lost in judgments and critical self-thought towards yourself, towards others, justified resentments and hate, anger, all of that stuff. No stranger to that. I understand that really deeply, how justified you can feel, but it doesn't really help you. And here's why. No matter how justified you feel, any resentments or anger or rage or any of that stuff, no matter how justified you feel in carrying that, you are going to be miserable. It's going to eat you up and tear you up. And some people, they have a very high tolerance for it, and I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm just doing this because these thought streams have had a deeply, profoundly positive effect in my personal life. And if even one person hears me and listens to Edward Art Supply Hands and starts unraveling their own ability to take complete 100% responsibility for how they feel and how they kind of learn how to create their own life experience so that they're living the life that they really want to live, it's completely worth it to me. So if you want to argue and you want to debate, this isn't the channel for you. I'm not here to convert anybody or to convince anybody. This is for people who want to try it and see for themselves through their own personal experience if it works for them. I don't have anything to gain from sharing my personal story because I'm not trying to control anyone else. I'm here doing my thing and I'm telling you what's working for me. So if you like that, that's great. If you don't, you might ought to look for another channel, and that's okay, because your experience is so valid and you're so adored and loved in this universe that there's nothing to be riled up about. So people that want to get riled up, they have all the right and opportunity to do that. I'm not doing that. So anyways, back to, if you can imagine what you desire as though you are fulfilled without attachment, because you have to at some point let yourself feel your wish, your desire is fulfilled. It's very much like pretend, but it's not pretend. It's only pretend because maybe you currently don't see it in your observable what is, but I can tell you that it will begin to arrange itself as you build momentum with your focus, and it will begin showing up in your world, in your observable world. And it just takes your willingness and to set aside, hey, just take all your doubt and your fear, which sometimes really is easier said than done, but put a pin in it and just let it hang there, and you come back to it when and if you need it. But you can take your attention and you can move it more gently towards what you want without feeling guilty, without feeling stressed and anxiety about it. Hey, we're all programmed to feel a lot of stress and anxiety, especially if we're not meeting other people's expectations, and if we're not meeting expectations that we might have put upon ourselves with our critical inner voice. The harsh judge can really come down on you, and it can make it really challenging to find your way into a better feeling present moment. So all I'm saying is, like what Joe Dispenza says, there is a generous present moment, and it is right here, right now, and slipping into that, it only takes your willingness. Like when you're watching a movie, there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief, but then you can immerse yourself in the new narrative in front of you, and then you can enjoy the storyline and let it take you on an adventure down a new path. You can have a new experience. You can truly create a life that feels better for yourself if you are just willing to try to do that. And then the trying becomes replaced as you start receiving more feedback from the universe, from the unseen world, because it's not going to really do it without your willingness and your participation is key. It's vital. You wouldn't go to a store and then find somebody that worked there and say to them, I don't know what to buy. Would you show me? Would you tell me what I should spend my money on? That person's going to look at you like you're crazy. But we do it all the time with our own beautiful creative power. If you just focus on what you want, and that means figuring out, deciding, feeling, practicing, exploring what it is that you do want, then the universe will do incredible things that you can't even imagine. The logistical hows and wheres and all of that, the unseen world will do that. That's what it does. All that you need to do is find ways to feel better and to play and focus on what you want, and then give it to yourself in your imagination to give yourself that present moment of relief and of allowing. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but you do it regularly, and I'm telling you, it is huge, and it will really start altering the reality of your own life experience. That's how powerful a creator you are. I'm so honored. I'm so pleased to finally just be jumping in here and talking to you about this, because this is my love. This is so fun and enjoyable for me to express these thought streams to you, to listen to this series and Neville Goddard and other thought leaders, and to kind of break things down and how I've been using them, and to share that with you. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't actually using and utilizing these practices myself, because I wouldn't know what the hell I was talking about otherwise. So this is my love offering to anyone who's ready and interested, and my love offering to people who aren't ready and aren't interested is that it's okay. You're so valuable and so adored, and you're so important in this experience, this collective conscious experience that we're having together as humans on this planet. So thank you for joining me for this little episode, one of many, many more that I am committed to making and sharing. And if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to share. Please, for the algorithms of YouTube, hit like if you like this video, and subscribe if you want to see more of me and what I'm talking about. And until then, till the next video, enjoy practicing the art of focusing on what you want, because it's absolutely essential in your beingness, in your beautiful present moment, and it will absolutely lead to better and better things for you. I know this for myself personally. So, thank you.